Hello, I'm here with Karl Hoffman, former esports coach at Ferndale Area School District. Karl, introduce yourself.
Hi guys, glad to be here. Excited about the possibility of spreading the esports throughout other organizations and high schools. For me, like Seth said, I'm Karl, and I was a teacher, a BCIT teacher at Ferndale Area School District at the high school. Of course, K to 12, but I taught mostly the 9th through 12th grade courses, gamification, game design, that type of stuff. And along with that came, my passion for esports and what I thought it could bring to the school district. So throughout that, I went ahead and I talked to a good friend of mine who is the IT specialist there at Ferndale Area School District, Toby Bayless, and he worked with me and we set up a budget and worked on a couple different things in order to present to the Ferndale Area School District School Board so we can go ahead and get an esports team started up.
Yeah, so tell us about the whole process of actually starting out from start to finish. What was that like?
Start to finish, I can say one of the most crucial things is getting everybody on board and really pushing. From start to finish, it was we had to gauge interest first, and we had to be able to show that interest. So we did a brief sign-up sheet just to see who all would be interested, how many would be interested of the students. Once we did that, we found out that there were 40 plus students that signed up for this esports team. So it was obviously something that they wanted to have at their school. It would be something that gave them a reason to come to school. Of course, once we narrowed down the game that we could, or games that we could have there at the school without spending money on hardware and stuff like that, that number dwindled drastically from around 46 to around 12. And I know that's an extreme number. Basically, in my opinion, the reason it dwindled so much is because we weren't offering Fortnite, which was a big game at the time and a game that the students even now today are still really involved with. So being able to offer several games is definitely a draw as well. But you start with the budgeting and then the board approval and getting everybody on board, the faculty and administration, and then really hit it home with the kids getting on board and creating that camaraderie in that team. It's no different from creating a football team or a basketball team. The lessons that the students learn on the field are going to be the same of that teamwork and hard work and everything that goes along with that. And then once you have it up and running, it becomes a management tool, even a carrot to hang in front of the students for better grades, for better socialization, and really getting the students involved in changing the atmosphere of the school. Because one of the big things with pretty much every school is a behavior management system. And, I know some schools use PBIS, some schools use their own form of positive reinforcement. And this is a way to really change the atmosphere, which then in turn changes the behavior of the students throughout school, not only in ways such as they know they have to behave and get good grades or else they can't play in that game or on that game on Friday or Tuesday or whatever it might be. But the fact is that now you're giving them a reason to come to school. We structured our practices as morning practices. I would offer a morning practice every homeroom. I worked with administration and didn't have a homeroom so that I could offer this because it was a club base, and that's the way the board approved it, was a club-based organization. I think eventually it will turn into a actual athletic base demographic, but for now it was just a club base, and I think that's where you need to get started as a.
Yeah. So going back to the students and the motivating and keeping those kids engaged, especially with this program, did you have any stories or anything with the students that you saw specifically that this esports program has helped maybe one or two of them with, or maybe the whole esports team in general with the team building or anything like that? Did you see anything like that?
I think something like that takes time. You have to put in the time. The students have to put in the time. They have to realize that they can further themselves, that they can further their education through some mechanism like esports. You know, the fact that they can get a scholarship, I don't think really sinks into them yet until someone around them gets a scholarship. And once that occurs, then they're going to be very gung ho, and their parents will be pushing it, and the community will be pushing it a lot more. As far as some small victories, though, I can say that the camaraderie that the team had was pretty intense. I mean, it was a group of students who didn't really have much in common outside of school other than esports, and this kind of brought them together and allowed them to hang out pretty much every homeroom. And then we did also have some afternoon practices as it got closer to the season, and have them stay after school and just build this team and this environment, this atmosphere, which is definitely a small victory to some and a large victory to me.
All right. Thank you, Karl. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.